recording's been going good. We're up at Heliport Studios in Budrum with John Merchant. Yeah, it's just sort of been a good 8 or 9 days so far of just intense recording.
Play it again.
Really?
Yeah. Just because you can hear the intensity level drop at the one place that it shouldn't, which is the end. I got to meet Hayden about 6 months ago when I was in Australia to do some lectures. I was working with Barry Gibb, doing some live shows, and I was giving talks at universities around the country.
Went up to him and gave him a couple of our CDs and gave him my email address.
So I got to give it a listen, and they were really good. It was not what I expected.
A couple months later, he wrote me an email just sort of listing what parts he liked about our recording and what he thought we could sort of work on.
Checked it out, it sounded fantastic. You know, good job. And he said, well, I have some new songs. Could I send you some new ones that I'm working on? So he had some demos, and he sent me about 8 or 9 songs that I sat and listened to, and I sent him an extensive email with, here's what I hear.
It's cheeky and just asked him if he'd produce our next album.
First of all, flattered that they would ask. Honored, and of course it's like, yeah, let's figure out a way to make this happen. It's a huge leap of faith for them to have brought me here, huge, because they hadn't worked with me before. They knew my reputation, but we hadn't spent a minute together professionally before the first day of the session.
Yeah, how'd that feel? Think it's gonna be cool?
Yep.
Did that the click kind of follow where you expected it to go?
They have so many elements that make this band really interesting. Super solid rhythm section. Good guitar players. Scotty French is a really good player and brings a lot. Horn players are great, really inventive, and great tone. And then Hayden has a great voice.
17, young and green, stolen goods, unforeseen, went down that track, eventually made me crack.
And I think that for me is really the draw. All the other stuff is great, and it's not to take anything away from the band, but Hayden's voice is awesome. He can really sing, and he has such an interesting quality about the way he, both his tonality as well as the way he approaches a lyric. It's really interesting. I haven't worked with anyone who thinks about lyrics and performs them like that, and it's a really cool sound.
Yeah, City Lights was sort of like the story of how I came from a little small farming town in New Zealand and came to the big city and sort of, you know, trying to make it over here. So it's sort of like polar opposites. My family being over in New Zealand, living in a little farming town, and then me over here in the city being a rock star on the weekends.
They've been making fun of me for saying cool. I can't say cool. I'm not allowed to say cool anymore, so there are a few choice tracks. They have choice. Good as Today is absolutely my favorite.
I've been so many things left to show me. Nothing's as good as today.
Good. Let's do one more just for sync at the beginning. But otherwise, I think the sound is right.
He's got his way to do things, and he's also open to our suggestions as well.
You got one more in you? Let me hear it at full blast.
Or we're just going to listen to everything.
Yeah. What's the hardest you're going to hit it?
He's a lot about tones and just getting the sounds absolutely right.
Like this one, I just feel like I can hear you thinking,
yeah,
rather than just playing.
We're trying to just capture the best versions of what they do, and what they do is really good.
When we were first tracking the sort of structures of the songs, he just sort of let us go for it, and he didn't really shape it too much. But as we did the overdubs and getting the final sounds, he really, that's when he sort of put his production stamp on things. He just sort of zooms, it's like he's looking at our music with a magnifying glass and just zooming in and trying to just find the right sounds for each part. And yeah, it's been awesome.
I hope the audience finds this project. I hope that they love it as much as we loved making it.
I got the the sweet suit, wear it all retrofitted. Gotta love that old school, wearing it so cool. I'll take my chances, dancing uncoordinated, but you don't seem to mind, girl, you're oh so cool. Some things seem to make a lot